Hello, ketemu lagi dengan expatify. Kali ini aku Irawan bersama.
Halo, saya Danur.
Aduh, masih sibuk ya Mas Danur?
Oh enggak, udah pas selesai.
Oke.
Saya Danur, saya di Expatify ini sebagai project manager.
Iya.
Mas Irawan.
Oke. Project manager. Jadi sebagai project manager ini ya semua klien yang di expatify ini nanti dibantu sama Mas Danur semua ya Mas Danur ya, dari proses awal sampai akhir.
Ya, mungkin dari identifikasi kebutuhan dan permasalahannya sampai akhir, sampai website itu live ya.
Iya. Jadi inilah small office kita. Kalau kalian lihat di belakang ini ya teman-teman dari Spotify semua dia bekerja di sini, develop website di sini.
Kita ada rajin-rajin Mas.
Kecuali Mas Danur. Oke, di video kali ini kita pengen ngobrolin apa nih Mas Danur?
Kita sekarang mau bahas tentang brand kita sendiri.
Iya. Bukan kita sendiri, maksudnya brand teman-teman lah.
Iya, brand teman-teman. Dibandingkan dengan marketplace nih.
Marketplace.
Ya.
Oke, berarti website atau marketplace.
Iya. Bukan atau ya. Dan ya mungkin ya.
Dan marketplace.
Dan marketplace.
Iya, kolaborasi. Sekarang eranya kolaborasi. Betul. Soalnya. Waduh, udah ada bocoran sedikit ya. Jadi mungkin banyak banget memang kita sering temui ya, kenapa ya sebetulnya kalau di Indonesia ini udah banyak banget orang bisa jualan di marketplace ya Mas Danur ya.
Betul.
Kenapa sih masih butuh website gitu? Terutama Shopify ya. Shopify salah satu website e-commerce yang bisa kita pakai untuk jualan lah. Makanya di video kali ini kita pengen kasih lihat video presentasi dari teman kita yang di Shopify, namanya Felix Chen. Felix Chen ini posisinya dia di Shopify sebagai partnership manager Asia Tenggara ya Mas Danur ya?
Iya.
Iya. Oke, di video ini akan ngebahas apa sih Felix ini Mas Danur?
Iya, kurang lebih bahas tentang kenapa butuh website sendiri gitu. Apa yang nggak bisa diakomodir oleh marketplace dan bisa diakomodir lebih baik di website sendiri. Kurang lebih seperti itu.
Durasinya berapa lama itu?
Kurang lebih sih videonya ini setengah jam gitu Mas Irawan. Jadi dan nanti setelah video ini selesai, di akhir ini kita akan bikin kesimpulan dari video Felix tersebut dan mungkin kita sedikit tanya jawab ya Mas Irawan ya masing-masing gitu. Jadi jangan di skip ya videonya gitu. Jadi ditonton sampai habis lah gitu. Nanti di akhir kita akan bahas gitu.
Jangan langsung di akhir maksudnya ya.
Iya, jangan.
Ya, karena videonya cukup menarik sih. Jadi ya memang agak sedikit panjang durasinya, tapi ya sangat bermanfaatnya untuk ditonton. Apalagi ini langsung dari Shopify-nya ya.
Iya, jadi langsung dari orang Shopify.
Oke, tanpa basa-basi kali Mas Danur ya. Kita langsung aja ya tonton nih. Oke. Silakan ditonton videonya.
Hi everyone, I'm Felix from Shopify's Southeast Asia Partnership Team. And in this 15 to 20 minutes coming on, we're going to be sharing some mindsets and concepts about brand.com, why you need an official website, and how Shopify can help you build your business. So tapping into some of the learning points today, the first point is going to be, what is brand building? We're going to touch upon some ideas about why or how you're going to build a brand. And we're also going to chime into some introduction about brand.com and marketplaces, how you work with all of these different resources and run a long-term business. And at last, we're going to be tapping into a case study, which is Boozy from the Philippines. So first of all, let's talk about what is brand building. Basically, brand building is a strategy behind building recognition between your product and your customers. So it includes a very wide variation from your brand logos, your fonts, what kind of picture you're using, how you're conveying your value, your mission statement, and what people you want to help. These are all combined all together will become like a brand building idea that you will probably host along the way, right? And the second thing is that it's a really wide variety, so there are many things that you need to be taking care of, no matter it's from the visual or the values or the mission that you want to convey to your buyers. It's a very big plan that you want to be able to think through, and it's also about your entire marketing funnel And if you have a great idea about what your brand would be looking like, it's going to help you also build up your marketing funnel and become a more effective way of driving sales. And it's also easier to purchase, to influence a purchase even at a higher price. So at the end, it's just about how you make people like you. So showing your brand value, putting an eye on every details that you're going along the way. That's how you build up a brand. When it comes to brand building, people would often think about, hey, do I need a branded website? Right? How would a branded website help us succeed in my business, in my world? How would I get financially successful in a way? But there are really, really many ways, many reasons that you will need a website. We came up with 4 points today. And the 4 points are: first, your customer are already searching for you online. And the second point is having an online presence will build your credibility. Third, real world customer connections happen on websites as well. And the fourth is you can hold your first party data. So let's talk about these a little bit. The number one thing you have for your marketing plan is a website, right? You need to make sure that you have a website so you have many, many different plans surrounding what you're going to be doing. Some numbers to share with you guys. There are over 400,000 searches taking place online every second. And it's a very high potential exposure for your business. And the number of consumers that would be searching for business and services online is as high as 97%. So almost everyone, only 3% of the people are probably not doing this at all. But most of the market, most of the people that might be buying your product has been doing this. So this is really an important place that you need to make sure you have, build a kingdom, build a place, build a haven here to let people come into you or get to you when they want to search for you. But in the reality, we have 58% of the small businesses that don't really have a website. So that's what we're lacking right now. Why we're telling people that you need a website to show them who you are. And the second point, your brand will need a website to build your credibility. Without a website, customers will be left wondering what your business is about. Sometimes they will lead them to go with other business that intentions are more clear. And the third point is there are several important things that happen on branded websites, right? For example, our customers learn about your services. People can send us direct emails. Visitors can sign up for newsletters. People can read some past customer reviews. Customers can also share your websites or to their friends and family directly. They can even also spot your physical locations if you have all these information listed on your website. So basically, you need a website because it's your single most important marketing tool. A website can serve and retain your current customers and be influential in finding new customers. So some other data that can help you justify why you need a website. 89.3% of customers will take to the internet to make a purchase decision. So that might mean not all of them will be buying online, but this would affect how they would make a purchase, right? And the fourth point is that having a website, you will be able to hold your first party data. I know many of you watching the video right now might be running a business online, but it might be some different platforms or a marketplace. But if you do have that experience, you will understand if you would be able to get a first party data, how valuable that could be. So this is also a really big reason why we were emphasizing on the importance of having your own website of yours. So now let's start to move on to some strategies and best practices. There are also 4 points that we want to share with you. The first one is build community around shared values. And then second, deliver delightful customer service experiences. Third is create brand transparency. And the fourth is embrace storytelling. So when I just read through all these 4 points, it might sound really, really cliche. But in the reality, basically, a lot of the merchants, they know these values. They know they need to do this when they hear this. But if not many of them are really understanding how to perform these things. So let's get into a little bit of detail about what these 4 things mean. First, build community around shared values. It's to You can look to any social media platform and you'll see communities of people with shared interest. And let's take Facebook, for example. 1.8 billion people use Facebook every month. And given the popularity, 40% of e-commerce brands are investing in their own online communities to humanize their brands and increase customer retention. And there are studies that show that communities are a win-win for online store owners. They drive customer retention and brand awareness while also decreasing customer support costs. So this is basically the value of holding a community. And the second point is the experience that you want to provide to make your customer happy, right? So this kind of experience that you provide when interacting with your brand, when your customer interacts with your brand, would make or break the commercial relationship. So it's a yes or no. 60% of the shoppers say an excellent past customer experience is a driving factor to let them repurchase again. And landing on a website, finding a product that speaks to you and being able to click on 2 clicks and buy something it is a really enjoyable experience than causing confusion, right? So basically what you want to form and what you want to convey is, do I really support this brand? This kind of idea should be a no-brainer for your buyers to buy because you want to make it clear and you want to make them feel you at this very first point. And the third point, create brand transparency. This is something really getting more and more sensitive along nowadays because people are more aware of how their data has been used. So we're also entering an era of customers taking back control of their own online privacies, right? You can see like Apple has been changing its tracking framework to give users more control over their data. And Google has also claimed some cookie policies, even though it might be postponed to 2023. But these are really, really clear facts that people are reclaiming their privacy right? So the way in which brands obtain this data is where the biggest change comes. One study found that 63 of customers consider how their data is collected and stored before sharing it with someone else. So it's almost 2 out of 3. And even including brands, they still have this kind of hesitation before they really share everything about themselves. So, but when brand transparency is guaranteed, 73% of customers are willing to pay more. And to encourage more data sharing, there are 44% of brands that plan to be more transparent about how they use their customer information. So this includes a clear opt-in and opt-out email or marketing campaigns. And at the end of the day, brands transparency doesn't end with data sharing. 72% of the customer want brands to be positive contributors from society, and they're going to be willing to pay for it. So 71% of purpose-driven shoppers will pay a premium of around 37% if the brand is fully transparent and it supports its support to the society is traceable. So this is really important to let people know who you are and be honest and sincere about what you're doing as a business owner. And the fourth point, which is really, I really echo with this point because I am also a human being that believes into storytelling a lot. So the fourth point is embrace storytelling. And the reason why we're emphasizing on this is because people are wired to love stories. Not only do we light up to sensory cortex in the brain, but we've also found that the brain does not make such a distinction between reading about an experience or encountering it in real life. So having a great skill to tell a story basically would make people feel like, oh, if I've experienced something that you want me to. And some numbers about the storytelling we're going to be sharing later will be really astonishing when you see that. And so what you want to be feeling about is you need to be able to describe your story vividly, and customers won't want it to end. You want to lead them toward a checkout page with a product confirmation email waiting for them in a few seconds later. And so now you need to be thinking about what kind of story you want to tell. right? The most obvious is your brand origin story and why it exists. So it kind of links back to what kind of value you want to show to the market and want to let your buyers see. So this actually let people resonate with who you are and what you're doing. So customers buy into the story, not necessarily only for the product for sale. And after talking about the best practices, we're moving on to some statistics. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be giving you some data, right? And there are a few points here. The first one is great branding drives profit. First one is, despite the brand budget cost, the power of a strong brand is undeniable, right? So it's really obvious that if a brand is strong, people would easily buy into what they're launching in the future. So brand marketing caters to both new and existing customers. So that's why a lot of people like to focus on this, because this also opens up a new market, but it also makes the retention even higher. So it also can benefit your business 1.6 times more than leaning into prospective customers alone. So this is why brand marketing is really being emphasized recently. And the second point is, consumers want to buy from brands with shared values. And you do see a number here, which is 43%. I'm gonna share with you about what this 43% refers to. But brand building works because you're not competing in a race to the bottom. These days, price isn't a defining factor for many purchasing decisions. More than half of the shopper are more likely to purchase from a company that shares the same value with them. So it's why even nowadays in 2022, the data shows that 43% of the brands are creating products that aligns with their values. So this is also a way that you can promote yourself and let yourself be seen. And the third point, which is storytelling builds brand recognition. You can have the most impressive product in the world, and you can have your employees to fine tune that, spending hours and days and weeks just to come up with the best product. But the fact is customers will struggle to remember the product in a few days' time, right? So storytelling, on the other hand, is 22 times more memorable than facts. So give them a scenario. You can always try to promote how good your products are, but it could be hidden into some storylines, so you'll be able to convey this information with the package of a story. So that would be easier for people to remember you, and when they probably would need that or and become interested of buying some sort of that kind of product, they will definitely remember you. So after sharing a lot of these best practices, data, statistics, we want to move on to what brand.com and marketplaces could co-work and cooperate all together. Do see that we're not using versus, because it's not a competition between a brand.com and marketplace. It's more of an team that we want to, more of a total solution that we want to be covering all the channels while we build our business, either online or offline. So we're talking about brand.com and marketplaces. So when it comes to brand.com and marketplaces, we need to talk about what these two are doing, are serving different purposes, right? In the brand.com world, these websites are able to deliver holistic and immersive brand experience. And it also acts like a voice of authenticity for shoppers, right? And all of the brands need to continually invest in official website to build relationship with shoppers in a fast-moving online retail environment. I think everyone would not argue with this, because things are just moving so fast. Whereas as the marketplace solution, they also have some good parts that you really cannot neglect. For example, like they have unique strength in delivering a convenient shopping experience. Many people that they have data stored in these marketplaces, if they want to buy something that they've known what they're already buying, they probably would go straight onto a marketplace, right? However, there are room for improvement to deliver assurance and authenticity, and this is where our brand.com could be serving another purpose for. So some small caption or summary here is that brands and marketplaces can coexist in the online retail ecosystem and do not need to compete with each other, as each have unique offerings, right? When you think about yourself as a brand, if you have 1,000 SKUs, you don't have to launch all the 1,000s on your marketplaces and on your website at the same time, right? Because all these different channels has different kinds of characteristics. So you want to show you're doing things differently. You're looking at different group of your customers in a most sincere way. So you get to choose what you want to let them see in different channels, right? For example, if you go to 7-Eleven, you might see things in a really small portion. Whereas if you go to Costco, you're going to see things in a really big portion. So these are how different channels are taking different strategies, right? So even if you're launching on your brand.com website, or you're launching a new thing on your marketplace, that's not a necessary thing that you need to do to launch it going onto all the sales channels. And as a part of a wider omni-channel strategy, brand.com should not be neglected, and partnership with marketplaces can be strengthened to capture more shoppers across the purchase pathway. So these are really great ideas that you, as a partner, that you need to bear in mind. So when you sell to your merchants, these are really great values that you need to implant into their mind to let them know, why are we selling this? We're not just telling you that, oh, a marketplace is not good. This is really that we're looking at from a holistic standpoint at their business to help them grow and expand their business from the future standpoint, to let them know what we're foreseeing and how we're going to help you grow. So last we're going to be talking about, is your merchant suited for brand.com? Basically 3 points. One is if they have a long-term business view, or if you can grant them this kind of view. Second is, do they understand how to make use of their customer data, or if you can teach them how they want to use the customer data. And the third one is knowing that how marketplace can help as a sales channel, which is not the only solution, right? Another example that I will love to give for many of our partners most of the time is that as you're working in Southeast Asia, as you see many marketplaces have been thriving throughout the time, you know that cost of selling on marketplaces might also become higher and higher. And this is natural because being charged when you sell on marketplace should be something really reasonable, because they're giving you traffic. So this traffic would definitely become more and more expensive as the time goes on. So while we're trying to suffer some of the cost rising, are we supposed to be thinking about how we pave another place for us to start our business that shall be even more long-term, and we will be able to convey things that are more sophisticated and more suited to what we're thinking of? So after talking about these things, we're going to be sharing some of the brand.com key takeaways. And I think these are really important for you to keep in mind. The first one is future growth opportunity is right for brand.com. And there are another 5 points. I'm not going to read it through, but I'm going to explain it little by little for points to points. The first point is about across categories, brand.com is a strong position to grow in Southeast Asia. And brand building is also key right now to ensure shoppers are exposed to the brand, regardless of their eventual checkout location. So this is where you need to get prepared and stand right here before they got to this place and figure that you're not here, right? And then the second point, 20% higher price premium from shoppers. This is from some statistics that we show. Purchases via brand websites are able to command a higher value from shoppers. I think it's also because of the scenario that they're in. There's probably not that many price comparison. And also at the same time, when they're in that whole atmosphere of buying things on your website, the whole complete vibe is provided by you. So it's basically a way that they feel they share some value. They know who you are. They're supporting you. So brands can offer exclusive deals and additional services like extended warranty to demonstrate value as well. So that's why a lot of these flexibility could even have people to buy things with a higher price premium. And the third point, brand.com has a unique opportunity to provide an immersive brand experience. I think we've made it quite clear in the previous slides, how we can provide different kind of setups and selling as a brand, not just a person selling product. And the fourth point, website experience is key to retain buyers and attract non-buyers. So yeah, many of the people from Southeast Asia nowadays, when we talk about brand.com or a branded site, most of the people are thinking that this is serving a purpose of communicating with non-buyers. But this is actually not just for non-buyers, but we can also get new buyers or even retain existing buyers. And there are a lot of channel strategies that we can use, sales strategies, business strategies, and these are really, really just from your creativity. You can think about how you want to help your customer and your merchant to thrive. And the last point, a localized brand website provides greater authenticity and trust. So no one has to argue about this as well, right? You have a localized solution is always better than some unified solution. So this also escalates to another level about how you even provide more personalized experience. So this is really important, and that's what's achievable when you have a website here. These are really, really key takeaways, and I really find these valuable. So by having all these things kept in your mind, we're going to be moving on to a case study right now. And the case study is some merchant that we've taken from Southeast Asia as well. And this is Boozy from the Philippines, and they're now the Philippines' largest online liquor store. So I hope this is going to be an inspiration for you guys to work with more people and even eventually move them onto Shopify Plus. So they previously started on Open Cart, and their industry is F&B. It's quite obvious, and their use case of Shopify and Shopify Plus is multi-channel and omni-channel, and basically they re-platformed themselves, right? So they moved on to Shopify Plus. So a few points that they've gotten from Shopify Plus: they boost sales, their month-over-month sales. They've grown to have more delivery hubs, and they're now the largest liquor store in the Philippines. Their revenue has grown. Some story about them that is in 2016, 4 of their founders with experience of like service, liquor, and digital marketing industry in the Philippines saw the potential of shifting their expertise into e-commerce. So Boozy has been born by this. And Boozy quickly grew beyond a small team. They were expanding from one delivery driver to a team of 100 plus people. So spanning the whole Metro Manila from multiple hubs and guaranteeing a 90 minutes delivery of wide variety of alcohol and tobacco products. That was a really great challenge for them. So that's why they came to Shopify Plus and see and they were seeking for some solution about how we can help them. As you can see, this is what the testimonial from their co-founder, Jonathan. And he says, like, it's not just the feature per se, it's also the support of the community, the partner ecosystem, and all of this, which makes Shopify Plus such a fantastic platform to use. So you guys as the partner here today, you actually are one of our most valuable gemstones that we are confident enough to tell people Shopify is one of the best solutions on earth because we have you guys here. And when Boozy launched in 2017, it used an agency to build a website from scratch. While the site operated on a basic level, it soon became clear it was difficult to scale. And the site couldn't integrate directly with performance media, and the company was experiencing exponential growth from its humble beginning, but it was still the whole website setup couldn't really support them to thrive on the business. So appreciating the fact that Shopify could be integrated with Google and Facebook, and also with a lot of these marketing tools, they decided to move on to Shopify. But when moving on to Shopify, a lot of these different functions has also helped them thrive. And after realizing that they needed better customizations with both the storefront and the checkout, they moved, and also the integration with third-party APIs, they moved on to Shopify Plus. So after moving on to Shopify Plus, they enjoyed no downtime to its operation during the upgrade and found the Shopify Plus team ready to ensure the right connection to the right resources. So this is like a really, really great case study that we can share with people when it comes to Southeast Asia merchants. After talking about brand.com, touching base on brand.com and marketplaces, some data, statistics, case study, with all of these things done, we now have come to an end of this course. But there's some things that I want to tell you is that you must have long-term goals to keep you from being frustrated by short-term failures. So, and this is a sentence, this is a motto that I like a lot, because if you have this kind of like moonshot goals, a lot of these failures wouldn't really hit your mind and make you feel frustrated when times aren't just giving you a good time, right? So having this kind of long-term objectives and long-term ambition in your mind would really help you grow your business. We all being focusing on this Southeast Asia market, I find this market a really promising and prosperous market that we could all grow and get benefit from. But this is not just a one-day thing. This would take months, quarters, and years. So you as a partner with us here, the partnership team here in Shopify, we want to ensure you that with all of these materials that we've been providing to you, with the onboarding program that we're providing right now, many of these information would be able to help you grow, enable your team to sell Shopify and let this best solution to be seen in this region. Thank you.
Keren ya Mas Danur ya videonya ya.
Cukup jelas ya harusnya ya.
Semoga kalian tonton awal sampai
iya sih benar. Jadi kesimpulan dan penjelasannya cukup detail berdasarkan studi juga ya pasti ya.
Kalau dari sisi Mas Danur, apa nih kira-kira yang bisa kita tarik kesimpulan?
Oke, yang pertama yang pembahasan yang pertama atau kedua gitu, yang mengapa butuh website, Mas Irawan gitu. Jadi mengapa kita butuh website sendiri? Paling utama sih kalau bagi saya sih data ya, Mas Irawan ya. Jadi
maksudnya kenapa butuh website sendiri? Marketplace saja udah cukup banyak mendatangkan sales misalkan.
Benar.
Kenapa masih butuh website sih gitu?
Oh iya.
Jadi karena memang ya balik lagi ya, tahu juga kalau di marketplace kan secara cost data sangat terbatas ya, kita bisa ini kan bisa dibilang namanya data customer itu harta karun ya Mas Danur.
Benar. Ya. Zaman sekarang data yang berharga ya.
Jadi dengan punya website seperti yang tadi Mas Danur bilang, ya kita bisa kelola sendiri data customer kita, mana yang loyal, mana yang mungkin bisa tambahin semacam kayak ini juga ya Mas Danur, kita bisa kasih gift ketika customer kita ulang tahun ya, semacam
lebih lagi ya gitu ya. Jadi bisa sedekat itu gitu tanpa batas.
Yang paling penting itu mention sama Felix, long term, secara long term ya, kita punya website sendiri atau disebut felix.com. Ya secara brand itu lebih kuat ya Mas Danur ya, karena website sendiri itu sama dengan itu rumah kita lah ya, namanya rumah, terserah kita mau seperti apa sampai customer itu atau tamu gitunya kita gitu. Kalau di place itu kan memang secara tampilan dan apapun fitur terutama ya general fiturnya akan sama semua. Kita nggak bisa kasih fitur yang memang sebenarnya mewakili brand identity teman-teman gitu. Ya seperti itu sih ya Mas Danur ya, kurang lebihnya.
Betul.
Gitu. Kalau tapi bisa dibilang sih yang namanya marketplace bukan pilihan ya.
Bukan. Jadi ya apapun sales channelnya ya selama mendatangkan income ya kenapa enggak gitu, kenapa enggak kita coba. Jadi di sini sebenarnya bukan lebih ke atau ya Mas Irawan ya. Betul. Kayak kolaborasi lah ya, misalkan ada sekarang mulainya dari marketplace gitu dan mungkin udah cukup kuat gitu di marketplace gitu, coba alih ke set juga gitu, tambahan, bukan berarti kita ini pindah gitu, tapi tambahan sales channel dan di situ kita bisa bangun tadi, di situ rumah kita, kita bisa bangun apapun di situ gitu. Jadi kita navigasinya mungkin di marketplace terbatas gitu ya, di tempat kita bisa bebas gitu, sesuai dengan brand guideline dari teman-teman gitu.
Betul. Ya, value, memperlihatkan brand value kita di website kita sih. Sama build community.
Benar.
Ya, tadi sempat di-mention build community. Kalau punya website sendiri kita bisa bentuk komunitas dari customer kita gitu. Terus tadi sempat di-mention sama Felix di awal. Misalkan brand kita udah terkenal nih, udah banyak penjualan, tapi kita baru punya salah satu di marketplace atau di Instagram. Jadi biasa customer itu yang udah pernah beli di Google.
Benar. Jadi pengalaman pribadi juga lah ya gitu ya. Kalau mau search apapun gitu pasti search dulu gitu ya. Nah itu salah satu bulan juga ya kalau kita punya website sendiri. Kita bisa optimize search engine optimization-nya gitu ya. Jadi nanti akan perlahan muncul di halaman pertama kredibilitas lagi ya. Gitu ya.
Kredibilitas. Jadi mau dicari dimanapun brand teman-teman gitu istilahnya punya website. Kurang lebih seperti itu sih ya Mas Danur ya. Oh iya, yang tadi Mas Danur bilang bukan atau tapi dan gitu. Jadi kalau misalkan punya banyak seller-seller kan baik ya.
Benar.
Iya, karena pasti segmennya beda-beda nih, customer yang kita bisa jangkau beda-beda. Mungkin next time kita tentang gimana cara mengkolaborasi seller menjadi satu.
Benar.
Satu
manajemen ya.
Satu manajemen gitu. Enggak kesulitan ya istilahnya ya. Waduh, kalau punya website, punya marketplace, gimana nih mengatur stoknya dan
marketplace-nya juga bukan cuma satu ya. Gitu. Ada banyak ya. Ada yang hijau, oranye, biru dan lain-lain ya.
Ada juga yang memang pengen bikin website yang tadi tujuannya untuk meningkatkan brand kredibilitas brand. Bikin website tapi hanya memperlihatkan katalog ya Mas Danur ya. Jadi tetap nanti pas dikunjungi website belinya di marketplace atau itu banyak sih seperti itu karena mereka agak takut gimana cara manage stoknya. Jadi at least tapi memperlihatkan katalog terus brandnya, value-nya lain di situ. Oke. Paling seperti itu sih. Ya semoga video dari Felix tadi dan ya sedikit kesimpulan dari kita ya bermanfaat ya buat teman-teman untuk bikin website. Ayo Shopify.
Iya.
Oke. Atau nanti bisa hubungin kita, ada di profil kita atau nanti kita kasih link ya di
kasih link di description ya.
Atau siapa silahkan hubungin kita bisa ngobrol. Oke, paling untuk video aja Mas Danur ya.
Ya, nanti mungkin lebih lagi ya kita spesifik bahas bukan perbandingan apa yang bisa kita optimize di channel gitu.
Betul.
Masing-masing sales channel gitu.
Oke, kalau gitu next ketemu lagi di video lain. Iya. Sampai ketemu.
Sudah menonton. Sampai ketemu lagi.
Salam dari Spotify.